guys, it's me. For the item build order, you should always want to go for Infinite Teach's first item because it's really effective. And for the second item, you want to go for the Static Shift. And for the third item, you want to go for Berserker Greaves or the cooldown boots, which is called the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. You need to pick this wisely because if you need to kite much in a team fight, then you would want to go for Berserker Greaves, or if you need to escape using your E and need to have a lot of cooldown on your skills, you should go for the cooldown boots. And for the next item, you want to get a Last Whisper because this way your proc on your passive, which is the Light Slinger, will deal a lot of damage since it applies on an effect. And the next item you want to get is the Bloodthirster because this gives quite a good effect from the passive that gives you shield, it gives you 20% lifesteal, and etc. For the last item, you want to get a defensive item, which is a QSS or a Banshee's Veil. Oh, and I forgot to put that you can also buy Warmogs, Randuin's Omen. No, it varies depending on the situation of the game. And when it's late game, you mostly want to sell your Static Shift for the Last Whisper. Your Static Shift for the Phantom Dancer and your boots for Zephyr. This way you can output a lot of damage and be really useful in team fights. Well, that's it for the item build order. This is one of the most important skills on Lucian. Just by reading the description, every time you use a skill, you can basic attack twice in the next 3 seconds. Every time you use skill, make sure to use this. Don't forget, okay? Don't forget to use this. Now moving on to the first skill that he can use. It's called the Piercing Light. This is amazing. This deals a ton of damage. Yes, it's freak. A ton of damage to the enemy. Make sure to use this, and I'll be talking to you the secrets on using this later on. Ah yes, the Ardent Blaze. This skill isn't really used for early levels, but you should take it at level 3 or 4, depending on which skills you take on level 4. This is just a skill for you to proc your passive early levels. Nonetheless, moving on, this E skill on Lucian is really useful since you can chase down enemies, and also, amazingly, you can proc your passive using this. And it has a really short mana cost. Small mana cost. Range is pretty long, 425. It's really useful. Take it level 2. Ah yes, this is the skill that we have been waiting for. The Calling. This allows Lucian to do the fade away as long as he can walk. Once you see this, you'll be amazed on how good his fade away is. They call Lucian the LeBron James, the king. But anyways, this skill is obtained in level 6 and has a cooldown of 110 seconds and costs 100 mana on all levels. This is the skill that I'll be talking about later on, along with all the skills. Stay tuned. Hello guys, it's me. So I'll be teaching you about how to play Lucian. He's a pretty good AD carry to play nowadays, since his skill is pretty well late game. As a Lucian, you mostly want to take your Q first level, like level 1, since that's his primary damage. What your Q does is that you shoot a laser in a straight line, which deals damage, like this. That can actually hit multiple enemies. And the name of your Q is called Piercing Light. For all AD carry, the item that you want to get first is Dawn's Blade. That's a must-have on AD carry. And 1 health potion. You wouldn't want to max your W or E on Lucian as first skill, because it is not that worth to max those two skills first.
A second shot.
Your Q deals the most damage out of your skills. And if you wanna play Lucian, he's a pretty good pick in late game.
You don't have the
laners out. And he farms pretty well, and it's pretty easy to play him. And when you play Lucian, the most important thing that you should remember to use is his passive, which is called the Light Slinger. So every time you use a skill, such as your Q, your gun will turn blue, and you can shoot twice. And this damage is about 24, level 4, if you take the same rune as I do. The second shot that Lucian deals to the enemy deals 30% of his attack damage, but the first shot deals the same attack damage as you hit the enemy, like the normal attack damage.
I'll sleep.
So if you play Lucian, that's the important thing that you have to remember. Between every skill, make sure you proc your passive.
Don't look so
this will help you trade with enemies, win your lane, and of course get kills or assist. You can do a dash forward, basic
Keep
attack.
moving on.
Since I forgot to tell you this, but every time you proc your passive, it reduces your cooldown for your E by 1 second. If you hit minions, but if you hit champion, it's 2 seconds.
You don't have the heart.
So for the cooldown on your E for level 5 is 18 seconds, and if you hit the passive on the enemy champion twice, that would mean that you reduce the cooldown of this E by 4 seconds, which is now 14 seconds.
The past.
This is actually pretty useful if you build cooldown on Lucian, but I don't recommend that. Okay, so this is the combo. E, W, Q, and if you think that he's gonna run away,
Ashes and dust.
and let's finish him off.
First blood.
So this is what Lucian's pretty good at, like bullying enemies and
Tired of dying.
killing them. He's considered one of the most fiercest AD carry, since he deals a lot of damage in a short time of
Tough
period.
talk for wormfoot.
For the first item, you mostly want to go for the static shift. That's if you think that
This is mercy.
like you're losing lane, so you go for that earlier average play. However, if you think you can get in the
Go
edge,
ahead.
that would be a better choice, since
Scare me.
that's where his power really spikes at. First item would most likely be a BF sword if you have enough items. I mean, gold.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then after that first item, you mostly want to get average blade or a boost of speed. Okay, so it's really important to proc Lucian's passive. I'm saying this again because I want to remind you guys that it's really important to proc his passive, because it applies on-hit effects like lifesteal. It can also critically strike. Like this. I'm proccing all my passive right now. This makes him really dangerous in Lucian. So he can get an immense amount of damage in a short period of time.
I'll sleep.
Probably he has one of the best kits amongst the AD carry. But for kiting wise, it's great, since she can tumble every
We're gonna need more
like 2 seconds or 1 second. It's a pretty short cooldown. But if Lucian were to go against the Vayne, Lucian would win most of the time, because Vayne is really squishy, and Lucian can burst people down really easily, just like this and that. It's super easy. If you keep proccing your passive,
Some
you
call it
mostly
magic.
will like to win the trade against.
Your team has destroyed.
So, you bought this coming here again.
Killing spree.
If you have enough for those items that I mentioned before, which is Affinity Edge and Static Shift, that's where your power really spikes, and you can kill people really easy.
Scare me.
As you can see, I have 175 AD, and this kills pretty well. 200 plus 124, that's like
Your team has
324
destroyed
damage.
a turret.
And minus that to their armor. See that damage.
Rampage.
You don't have the heart.
Like this deals immense amount of damage. If you were to 1v1 ADC, most likely will win the trade because he's a super strong AD carry. So right here I'll go for the average play because I don't have enough money for the AD edge. And
Everybody.
okay, as I keep saying, as an AD carry, we mostly want to get up to 60 to 70 CS at best in 10 minutes. Or for the combos, you don't want to use your key direct as this because you cannot output much damage in a short period of time. You mostly want to go for one basic attack and a Q. That's one basic attack and a Q. Or and for the combo, you want to go for the E, double proc, Q,
Second shot.
double proc.
Legendary.
He dived, so I couldn't hit him. His W is the one that cost a lot. His E is 0 mana, 100 no
By
AC.
all means. For son of
Oh wait, if you use your ultimate, you can dash forward too. Oh, okay, so I missed that kill. If you use your ultimate, which is your last kill, the calling, you're allowed to move sideways, backwards, forward, diagonally, and use your dash or your flash.
dash.
However, you won't be able to move as fast as you just walk normally. If the more basic attack speed you have, the more bullets you will shoot. As you can see, it says that total over 17 shots. The number of shots that you can make in the ultimate is based on how much attack speed you can, how much attack speed you have on your champion. I think the max attack speed cap is a 2.05. I think that will be around 24 shots on his ultimate. And this is where you really is super strong when you get the static shift.
Yeah.
That extra
I've got a cure for that.
100% critical strike that the static shift gives on the champion is really useful because your first attack will mostly
Some
likely
call
crit.
it magic.
And right now I have a critical chance of 40%, and the next attack that I do, if I use my passive, my critical is strike, that critically, you know, striking the enemy. Sorry, I couldn't speak it well.
Nothing cold.
Yeah, this is where I can actually kill most of the people that is on the enemy team. Okay, I'll show you here. Boom, first attack crits. See the damage? I know because I'm really fed right now, 10-0 and 0-10. But even though I'm fed, that like
Don't look so.
immense damage, especially if you have your red buff. It actually helps you a lot since red buff slows the enemy and burns them slowly. You can execute them really fast and easily. If you have these two items, your attack speed is
Past is just a ghost.
pretty good. It's enough to be able to fight. Since Lucian's attack speed animation is pretty fast. When you're going first, make sure you proc your passive by using your skills. Since a double attack actually helps you clear turrets faster. Like this position, clear turrets much faster. If you see that the enemy is trying to fight you, use your W other way so you don't, you know, attract the turret aggro.
Your team has destroyed the turret. Legendary.
Oh, and can also dash over these walls. As you can see, my E passes through the range. My range is actually more than the thickness of the wall.
Go ahead.
And I don't think that actually you can dash this wall.
I like how you